Welcome back to the Weekly Juice podcast. As always, Ryan and Corey here joining you. This is episode 24. Today we have special guest Austin Silver. He's an entrepreneur, day trading educator, and financial independence advocate who also is an owner of FOREX trading company ASFX. He dives into a lot of different things in this episode, from financial independence to trading in foreign exchange markets, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. So if you like what you're hearing, please share, subscribe, like, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That goes a really long way for us. And you can also find us on Instagram at Weekly Juice Pod for daily content to assist in your journey towards financial freedom. Without further ado, please welcome Austin. Austin, thanks so much for joining us today. If you could give our listeners just a little brief background on yourself, where you're from, what you like to do, and what you do professionally.
Sure. So professionally, I'm a day trader and I coach other traders on how to get started trading Forex, stocks, crypto, that kind of stuff the right way. There's a lot of scammy stuff in my industry, as you guys know, because you're on the internet and everybody sees someone scamming somebody with day trading or something like that. So I'm trying to cut my way through that fog professionally. I'm from Jersey originally. I lived out in Harrisburg for a little bit, where my girlfriend and I started this business together, where I met her family's from there. And we recently just moved down to Florida and we're loving it down here, like I was telling you guys. And what do I like to do? I like to work, like we were just talking about. I do sleep, but I do enjoy what I do. So it's like a motivator. I beat my alarm up most days. If not, it wakes me up at 5. So I'm passionate, and other than work, just living the Florida lifestyle. Like you saw, I was on the boat. I'm going on the boat on Friday again, hanging by the pool, going to the beach, just being active too. Like, got to work out every day, did hot yoga today. So doing that kind of stuff is really what I like to do. Just trying to stay balanced. And I think that when I stay balanced, it seems that my business grows. So it's like, let me just focus on that. And then the money and everything else kind of falls in line over here. You know what I mean?
Cool. So you talked about your business and day trading. And can you just give people a brief overview of, first of all, like almost in layman's terms, like what it is to be a day trader, sure, and what your business is surrounding that?
Sure. So I guess the easy way to think about it is compare it to something, right? So day trading is comparable to investing, where when you invest, most people think, I'm going to buy a stock, I'm going to buy a mutual fund, I'm going to invest my money some way, buy and hold. I'm just going to not take the money out for a long time. And I might even add into that. That's investing. So the separator to what I do, which I'm looking to actively manage my money on a daily or intraday, meaning within a few hours of the day basis. So I want to get in, make the money, or lose the money if I have to, and get out quickly, and use that overall capital to compound those wins and grow the account in some situations a lot faster than you would if you were just investing. So that's the day trading aspect of the business. And I specifically trade Forex, which is a little less known than stocks, but kind of becoming more popular, which is a good thing for me. I think that it's a way, you guys talk about real estate a lot on your show. Trading is another way to take a step towards financial freedom, take a step towards, I like to take control of the reins of your financial future, because look, it's not a get rich quick scheme overnight. You're not going to make $1 million in your first year, most likely, unless you're starting with a lot of money. Just like in real estate, you're not going to go buy a 40-unit property, most likely, on your first buy, right? You're going to buy a duplex, you're going to house hack, like I've heard you guys talk about. So the trading aspect is kind of like a long-term thing, but it's something that you have full control over, which is why I'm such a big believer in it, because you have that control rather than comparing it again to the investing of buy, hold, and hope that this works. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hated
absolutely.
that idea.
I can tell in your voice how motivated you are and how much you love it just when you talk about it. So it's really cool. I think I want to back up a little bit here and just talk about your story, because Austin and I actually know each other because our fathers were like literally best friends growing up. And Austin and I have known each other literally since we were little, but he's kind of grown this business in the shadows, so to speak, after going to high school. But I want to talk about your decision to do this full time and actually drop out of college, and what went into the decision behind that, because it's a powerful decision and it's turned out that it's paid off for you. So I'm really curious about that.
Sure. So my dad was not happy about that at all, because my dad had saved up all this money for me in a 529 plan. He took all of his, extra savings that he could for me and my brother, so we could go to college and we could live out this idea that his generation was sold. I was not sold on the idea of college from the jump. From high school into college, I never was I need it. But as you probably know, a lot of people, or if not both of you guys too, like when you come out of high school, if you don't have a direction, you go to college or you go to the military. You don't just drop out and sit there. That's like kind of frowned upon now. So you either go to college or the military. And I'm not a military guy, right? So definitely was just, let's go to college. Let's make dad happy. Let's just go get this done. So I was actually running track at the time. Like I said, I've always been like an athlete. So track helped me get into school, and it kind of honestly just fell apart pretty quickly. It was weird. The guys that recruited me for track, the 3 coaches, all got fired the year that I showed up. When I showed up for summer training 3 weeks in, they all got fired for violating some NCAA rules, a whole thing. So then the coaches that recruited me disappeared. So then I stopped taking it as seriously. I ended up actually not running that much and transferring schools to Rowan. So then I'm going to school at Rowan, doing my thing there, and I go to a career fair. I find out I don't know if you know anybody that works at Northwestern Mutual or Mass Mutual.
I do, actually.
It sounds like life insurance. Right. So Riley's brother actually does that too. Yeah, exactly.
I interned at Northwestern Mutual.
So I figured you did, bro. We're so alike. I did it too. Right. Everybody hates it. Most people hate it, right? Because nobody has enough leads. That's really what it is. Yeah. And that was my problem. So I liked the business because, again, going back to financial freedom, I'm like, yo, this gives me the time. If I can build this and I get the residuals from these clients, people will be calling me. They'll want to do business with me. I won't have to chase them. This is it. I like this. But nobody would buy life insurance from me. I was 19, 20, not selling a thing, except to my dad, right? So then I'm like, what do I need to do to make this real? So I guess, doing research. I don't remember exactly what pushed me to it, but I ended up learning about a Series 7 and a Series 66, because that's what other advisors were doing as they got, more advanced. So I'm like, okay, let me just study for this thing, take it, and then I can sell stocks. Then I could sell mutual funds. Then at least if my friends had a couple $1,000, maybe I could convince them to give it to me and I'll invest it with Northwestern and blah, blah, blah. We'll make some money, right? That was my thought process.
That's
and
not
then
bad,
no, and it was like, okay, this makes sense. And all this time, to your question, I'm still in school. Like, this was in college as an intern, right? As a sophomore. So I was a little young, but still in college. As soon as I found out what day trading was, because it was in the textbooks that I was studying for the Series 7, it was over. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. Like, these guys are making way more money. Yeah, it's a smaller group of people, but that doesn't make it impossible. Someone's doing it, which means I can do it. And even if no one was doing it, if it was good enough, I'd stupidly probably still try to do it myself anyway. You know what I'm saying? But there were already people making money day trading, and there were returns behind hedge funds and private traders to show that it was possible. Not likely. Most people do lose their money, but it is possible. So I was like, hooked. Give me this. I need this. So then I'm like trading, selling life insurance, and trying to go to school. And I was taking the train into Philly to be in the office and blah, blah, blah. And I actually got really sick. I think it was like pneumonia, something like that. I was out of commission for a week. No trading, no work, no school, just in bed in my apartment with my roommate for a week. And that was basically it. I was like, okay, if I'm going to and I got sick, I think, because I wasn't sleeping. Like, you know me, you hear me talking fast. I'm kind of crazy, passionate. So when I catch the bug, I go, you know what I'm saying? You can't stop me, to the point where I get sick. And that's where I was like, I'm not going to talk to my dad about this because he's going to say no. I'm not going to talk to my girlfriend at the time because I kind of knew that she wasn't the one I was going to end up being with. So she's not here long-term, but like long-term, is it worth it for me to commit another year? Because I was a junior at the time. Is it worth it for me to commit another year when I see so much potential in this? Or take the money, my dad had like 10 grand, 15 grand left. Take that money, convince him to give it to me, and let me start this trading thing. And if I fail, I promised him I'd finish school. I promised him I'd go back and go get the degree and and pay him back even more money than he gave me, right? And he agreed, reluctantly. Definitely not happy, but still the support from him was definitely where it all started. He was saying, look, I don't believe in this, but I'm going to let you do it because I trust you kind of enough. And that was it. And then I think a lot of it ruined my relationship with my aunts and my cousins, really, because they really didn't agree with me. They didn't like what I was doing. And then I came off to them as this person that I had to go my own way. I had to cut my own path, F authority. I don't need anybody, but it was never that. It was just like, this path here is not what motivates me. This path does. Why can everyone support me here just because it's not traditional,
By the way, Austin, they probably love you, but it doesn't fucking matter what they think.
No, it definitely doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Of course, it definitely doesn't matter. And I want them.
Because it's your life.
Of course, that's the way I always felt about it. It was like, they should respect me for being me because I've always respected them for being them. But it was weird. It was I think it was like the first time I saw, like, if you make a decision in business or in personal life or whatever that's off the norm, even your own family will look at you funny. They'll look at you and be like, are you serious? Like, that's not going to work. But really, what is that? That's their own fears of themselves coming out and being projected onto you. So it's like, that can actually motivate you when you know that, when you know they're projecting, you could just be like, okay, you could keep saying you're not going to do it. Well, that's all I'm hearing because I'm going to do it,
Right.
And I was locked in, bro. Gary V, Grant Cardone, no friends, I didn't have a girlfriend at that time. We had broken up. So I was just locked in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I want to talk about, transition to now, your business trading. You kind of briefly touched on what Forex is. Mm-hmm. I guess if you could give us an overview of what you do on a day-to-day basis. I know you get in, get out of the market quick to make money. Maybe talk about some of those returns that you're seeing and what it all means to put this together, because you coach it for a business as well. So you teach people how to do this, right?
So I guess that would be a better place for me to start, just to give you the foundation there. So like what happened was I wanted to learn how to trade. So I was like on YouTube, on the internet, like, let me buy courses, let me hack this, let me get every piece of content, do the Gary V, eat shit for 2 years, and then I'm gonna figure it out. That was the mindset. So I consumed everybody's video courses. And I was trying to figure out a way to like find a system, because I read some trading books from people that I knew made money trading. Like one of the guys, I know you won't know him, his name is Mike Bellafiore. He's a prop trader that's just been around for so long that he is someone who's got the track record, got the, the notoriety. I'm going to trust what he says. And these guys would push systems, and these were real traders. So I was like, okay, let's find a system. Online though, you come on Instagram, you come on YouTube, nobody's teaching this system. No one was actually providing you with, get in here, put your stop loss here, your risk is here, this is how you do this. No one was providing that. So once I was able to, like, long story short, we don't need to go into the details, but I was able to figure out a pattern. That was it. Just an entry, exit. I know when this presents, my risk is good, and I'm going to take this trade when it presents. Once I figured that out, it was over, because I realized that I didn't need to do anything else except trade that pattern every time it presented when I was awake. And that's all I would try to do, is trade that one. And that one over the last 4 years has grown into 3. And now I have video courses where I teach people how to identify those patterns. So some of the success that people have seen, I just have a video going up on my YouTube channel tomorrow with a girl from Scotland. I shouldn't say a girl, a woman. She has 3 kids and a husband. Her husband does well. She's a perfect client. He does well in sales. She had good money to start trading with. She hasn't lost a trade since May. She made 24% last month alone. So she's crushing it. Just like to the T. She's a perfect example of somebody. She was so skeptical of me. She's probably looking at me. She's from Scotland, and I'm like good friends with her now. She'll watch this and laugh she's going to be cracking up when she watches this. But she probably looked at me for so long. This crazy little kid, little man from America with the red glasses. What is he saying? And she'll admit that she was on the fence for so long. And then once we talked enough, she finally joined, and now she's been definitely one of our biggest successes so far. And now she's somebody who's taken the success that she's seen and some of the money she's made, and she's now able to actually work with me, being the entrepreneur, and I'm putting her in a position to then coach other people too. Because look, not everybody likes me. I'm crazy. I'm on the East Coast. She's in Scotland. Time zones might work different. So it's a win-win for me and the clients. They might work better with her, like her more, and it puts more money in her pocket to charge for that. So now we're kind of building this business to have like some layers to it too, where she can get paid, I can get paid, the clients are happy, and everybody's happy. So that's that side of the business too.
Can you almost dumb it down? What is Forex compared with stock?
That was what Corey said too. Yeah. So the best way to think about it is like this. When you invest in a stock, it's one asset. It's Apple. It's Nike. What brand is your shirt? Under Armour. Whatever. It's a company, right? When you trade Forex, and that company can go to 1,000, it can be Tesla, it can go to 2,500. They can split the stock, and the Fed can buy some of it, and you know what I mean. They can do all this stuff in the stock market that in Forex you can't do. So see the stock market over here, and then see the Forex as like a separate market completely. It's not, it doesn't close like the stock market does. It actually is open from Sunday evening to Friday afternoon, nonstop. It trades from the Asian markets into the London markets, the Europe markets, and then into the American markets. They all kind of overlap as the day goes on. And what you're trading there, back to the one asset in a stock, there you're trading the exchange rate. So it's changing, it's a price between 2 currencies. So think about all the different countries in the world. If you think of, just for example, like the euro, because the euro is what a lot of those European countries use, to the dollar, that value changes. If you were to go to Europe and try to exchange your euros or your dollars for euros today, it's different than what it was 20 years ago, 2 days ago. Yeah. And that rate of exchange is what we trade. So brokers entered the market about 20 years ago when the internet started getting popping, 2000, 2001, people want to trade online. These brokers got into Forex because before that, you needed $1 million, you needed a plug at the bank, you really needed to know somebody, but the internet made everybody get in. So now these brokers are able to get the price and distribute it out to people like us so we can take advantage of the movement of that price. So a stock can go to zero. The only way a Forex pair, because again, you're trading 2 currencies, would be for the euro to disappear. Otherwise, it's just going to get more volatile. The moves are going to be bigger. So it has a lot of advantages over stocks, in my opinion, just for stability, size, hours. Like I said, it works for people that are part-time. If you're like working during the day, you can come home, trade Forex at night or before work. Can't do that with stocks. So it's got a lot of benefits that people just don't know about because it's new. You guys don't know Forex. A lot of people don't know Forex. So my job is to bring it to the mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
Is it foreign exchange? Is that what it stands for?
Foreign exchange market, like Forex, FX. It's all the same thing. Yep. FOREX.
So it sounds like it's actually, people would probably think.
You don't want to say easier.
Well, right. No, not easier. Not easier. That's what I was going to say. I was like, it's actually less risky, but when people hear it, they say, dude, that's crazy.
Well, here's why. So I think the main reason why is because most people, like I said, statistically, like the brokers have to put out their numbers on the accounts that they hold every year to the SEC or wherever country they're in, to the regulatory agency of that country. The brokers will not lie. 88 to 90% of people are blowing their accounts, losing money, and not able to turn profit month on month. It's a fact. And that's because most people don't look at it from what I said about a system. They come in and they just start trading. I mean, think about it. If you wanted to be a brain surgeon, right? I mean, that's what I'm going to compare it to. People are going to be like, how could you compare day trading to brain surgery? But in both sense, they're a skill. You need to learn the art. You need to be a master, like a Robert Greene mastery of this thing, right? So how could you pay so much money, go into debt to be a doctor, to be a brain surgeon, all those hours of practice and practice and practice before you get to somebody, but then come to the market, throw some money in and be like, buy this today. I think this is a good buy. Like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? But that's what most people do. So that's why most people lose. And then there's a few crazy people that end up coming back, looking for some education eventually, and then they end up finding me or someone else that teaches that can help them make money. And there are some people that are able to actually make consistent money from it. You know what I mean?
Cool. So at some point, you were a baby or a beginner in this, and you at some point from there transitioned it into a business. Can you talk about that transition and how you now monetize, I guess, your education courses, or exactly what your business is?
Absolutely. So the first thing I did was I set it up as an LLC so I could write off anything that involved trading as an expense against my profits at the end of the year. So I did that back in 2016. So I had that LLC set up, ran all the trading profits through that. Didn't have any courses at that time because prior to Riley, my girlfriend, meeting and us starting this together basically last July, prior to her, I was actually working with a firm in New York City. I built video courses for them. They're a firm on Wall Street. They're a prop firm. I built video courses for them. They were selling them. And then when I left them, because we just didn't agree on how to market me, they deleted everything. They kept everything. It's all gone. So I had to remake everything. So I've actually made a lot of video courses, but right now the business model, to answer your question, Ryan, that we're selling is the systems that I trade through 3 separate video courses. And I've also done a couple of live events that we recorded. I did a 10-hour live event in Philly. We did an online event because of stupid COVID delaying my last seminar, but we recorded those and we sell those as well, just to give people more content to consume behind the systems that I trade. And I never say this is the only way to make money, because it's not. There's a lot of different ways to make money trading for sure. But where I can like really say that we stand out is the systemization of what we do, like how detailed and analytical we've got it down to now is by far the best I've ever seen in my 5 years of doing it. And now we're clearly showing that it's replicatable, where somebody that doesn't know anything like you guys could come in if you want. Of course, it's only for people that are driven. You got to want it. You got to want to learn what the fuck are those candles? What is he talking about with pips? What? You got to want that. But if you do, now I feel like we have a good platform with the courses and now with my free content on YouTube to like really get into the trading education space. And it's cool because the internet has opened me up to putting out this business model, motivating other people around me. I see them kind of copying us and doing similar things, which is cool. I like that. I think that that's a good thing. It's like competition is going to breed excellence, and it's only a good thing. But it's also opened me up to networking with some really serious traders. Like that guy I mentioned, Mike Bellafiore, who's like the legend, the older guy. He's got no hair anymore. He's gray. I actually am going to be speaking with him on stage at an event in Amsterdam in April, just because of the content that I put out on the internet and just because of the idea of this business platform that, like I said, other people are starting to follow. So I'm very like humbled by that. Great. Like it's crazy that I'm speaking with him and I'm just the guy that figured it out kind of from his college dorm room, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so it's this whole wave of like, you guys have to look at it. And for people listening, you have to look at it like think about all the things that have changed because of COVID. Okay. Just that alone. Now, the one thing it makes very clear, whether you're Republican or Democrat, the clearest thing out of all of it is that everything is going online. Everything is going digital. You could still be in the physical product space, but it's going to get hard. Look how hard it is to ship stuff. Riley's brother, he sells these cushions on Amazon. He's getting hung up when COVID hits. They're getting hung up here. I don't have to worry about any of that, whether it's through my trading or through, you know what I mean? So I kind of have a feeling. I've seen this digital wave coming. I've been listening to Gary Vee. Like I said, they've all been saying it. And now that's why I want to put that out through the video courses that I have to other people to say, hey, take control of your financial future because it's coming. This digital, I call it a digital age. That's really what it is, where everything is technological. Everything is going to be facial scans and faster. You need a new way to make money. The old ways of making money are going to get outdated, in my opinion. And I think you're going to have less control in stocks and other things like that than ever as we go forward. So Forex is the up and coming thing.
It's really cool to hear this perspective because like we talk about real estate a lot, and we talk about electronic, even just like electronic payments and things like this that we're basically requiring from our tenants to make electronic payments going forward. But when are you going to make them pay in Bitcoin? That's the real question. That's what all the crypto people are going to want to know. When are you going to take Bitcoin? Well, maybe you can teach me how to do that because I'm like pretty much lost on Bitcoin. It's like some like foreign like clouds. I'm like, dude.
We can talk about that. But what were you going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off, Corey.
No, it's cool. I think I want to go back to. I think Rye might have a question. Maybe we can tandem this a little bit.
Yeah. But tell me.
We talked about specific percentages. You said that this woman that works for you now or with you makes 24%. We talk about this annualized stock market over a long-term period is 9 to 10%. And we talk about real estate, like we think 15, 20, 25% is realistic. And that's why we go after it hard.
Definitely.
The question I have for you is what is realistic on a daily basis? He says, is 24%, is that the norm?
I would say 10% a month is normal. I don't like the daily thing because I don't trade every day. And that's a big thing. If you set daily goals in trading, I don't know how it is in other businesses because I've not experienced, but I know in trading, if I come in with, I'm making $500 today, you're going to force a trade probably that you didn't need to take. And it might end up actually costing you $500 or $1,000 instead, rather than making the money. So instead coming at it with like a monthly goal, and I do say 10% because I think that's a really good average, and it's all based on math. So the way that I trade is and I can only speak from my experience. Again, there's other traders out there that trade differently than me, but the way I trade it, never risk more than 3% of my account at any one time. So it's low risk, but when you're going out in a risk reward scenario to get 2 to 1, 3 to 1, well, if I'm risking 2%, but I make 2 to 1, I can make 4% on that trade. Well, if I hit 4 of those trades in a month, that's 16% in a month. That's a pretty good month. You know what I mean? So it's really about this idea of do less, do it better, do it bigger. That's this like our company saying, because it's true. If you trade less, trade the better trades and trade bigger with more size, you're going to make more money than somebody who's pushing the gas every day, and you're going to have a lot less risk. So it is a big boys game. You definitely need some money to trade, but you need money in real estate to make money. Like let's not, you know what I'm saying? Like I know I've heard some videos of you talking about you could put 3% down. Right. But even for some people, they get excited because they think, well, 3% might not be a lot, but your return on that investment is not going to be a lot either. You know what I'm saying? So you need money to make money, I think, in this type of space too.
How much is realistic for people to get started in Forex? And I guess it's different for everybody, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. The way that I always tell people, for people like you guys that are brand new, you would never start with live money. You paper trade, you demo trade to like test the waters. Let me make sure this is not some Fugazi thing. Like I want to make sure I like this before I put my real money into it. But once you come into it, I always say at least $1,000 because look, with $1,000, you're going to risk 2-3%. It's going to be very low risk financially for you, hopefully. So it shouldn't make or break your rent. It shouldn't make or break anything. It should always be money that you can afford to lose. That's the key. But you start with 1,000, you can grow that. And I recommend people start with less than they actually would. So I've had a couple of people screw up, and that's why it's good to bring this point up. Like they'll come in and they'll say, yo, I've got 25K. Let's get this thing popping. They'll watch the video courses, they'll put it through, and they'll think that they're ready to go. So they'll skip the demo trading and they'll put all 25K in. They'll lose 5, 6, 7 of it and then have to dig themselves out through one-on-ones with me and doing a lot of coaching, and we have to work our way backwards rather than starting with, okay, you want to come in with 25? Let's start with 10. You do well with the 10, get it to 12. Let's put another 10 in. That's the approach to trading. So it's really the opposite of, yo, I want to make money. Okay, so I need to add money into this slowly. I need to give myself time to grasp it and grow. I haven't met anybody that can just come in, hit the ground running with 1,000, 10,000, 50, and just crush it. You know what I mean? It normally takes a little bit of a curve, a couple of months.
The people that lose money in any business do exactly that. So it's not, I don't think it's any different, but I know you had a question.
Yeah, I think people are going to be intrigued and be like, hey, listen, I kind of want to try this, especially with, like you said, like the paper money, almost like a trial run.
Yeah.
What type of program do people go through you for this, or can they use a specific program where they say, hey, listen, let me try this thing out?
the best thing to do would be just go to my YouTube. It's youtube.com/AustinSilverFX, because it's just got a lot of free content. And Riley and I were talking about this, how it can seem overwhelming because there's so many videos. I have a playlist on there that's for new traders, like brand new people. It has a webinar in there, just a couple basic things. That's like the best place to start. That would be like, if it was me saying this to somebody new, start there. If you're interested past that, then I'm the guy to come to for the systemized way of actually putting your money to work. But what that requires is some practice and watching video courses and taking some notes beforehand. So we can get that person there, but I don't like really, I don't give, we've not had to give refunds. I don't have a refund policy because the people that I end up doing business with, I normally am closing the leads on all of them, where the salespeople that we have are. And we're building a relationship to where I know they're serious before they're giving me their money, because I don't need it. Like, I want them to be really invested in this. And that's why I don't do it for free either, because they need to pay. The people should pay to be financially invested. I'm then financially invested, and we can meet in the middle, motivated and financially invested. So it works really well when you can, put out the free content on YouTube for people that are asking that question. Like you said, Rye, send them there. And then if they're interested, contact me. Our website is asfx.biz. I do free webinars all the time. And our courses are really reasonably priced. Like, I'm not trying to make this a sales pitch at all, but I'm trying to break the mold, to a previous point that you made, Corey, about the bullshit basically that's on the internet. Because what happened with Forex, just to backtrack for a second, was I'm sure you guys know what multi-level marketing companies are. And I like network marketing, but network marketing is not multi-level marketing. It's two separate things. And multi-level marketing got its hand on Forex a couple of years ago in the States. Long story short, I was actually with one of the companies, everybody that's normally an intro that we found, because it was all over this company IML, and there was a couple other ones all over Instagram, the guys in the flashy suits, flashy shoes, not showing you any charts and trading like I do on my Instagram, but they're flashing you the fantasy, and they're getting people to sign up to Forex trading. And then you need to sign your friends up, and so all of a sudden Forex gets this terrible rap because it's not even about trading. It's about signing people up. And those guys aren't really around in the States anymore. They actually had a bunch of lawsuits go after them. So it's kind of sad. They same thing that Vima did. They flood a different country where the people don't speak English as well. The laws are different, and they can go take over there. So that's what they're doing right now.
So it's the same thing, as opposed to consuming Bigger Pockets for Real Estate, consuming hopefully our podcast, listening to Chad Carson, who we just had on, for free, and kind of gaining this knowledge, or spending $50,000 to go to a real estate seminar, when it's just really hard to grasp things there, and you feel like you kind of have this pressure, like, I got to make my money work for me, and it oftentimes doesn't work. So it's very similar. The question I have for you, and to back this up, or kind of like bring this full circle, is, you talk a lot about financial independence. Like, why do you even do what you do? Because one of the things you mentioned is control of your money. I think if you could speak briefly on why does this path work for you?
So my dad's old. My dad has had cancer, fighting through it. My mom had a stroke a couple of years ago. She's a little older. She's doing well now. So they're both living. They're still alive and enjoying their life to what they have left. But I've seen how life can change like that. And if you don't have money, and especially if you don't have control over your money, that snap, that is not sounding too menacing now, can change everything. Like, I watched, if my dad had not had money, we would have been on the street. We would have been living with family because of my mom's medical bills back a couple of years ago. So that, I think, is something inside, that did something inside of me that is just driving me beyond more like of a comprehension that I can, I think, express. But I think also it's just me knowing where we're headed. Like, if you go back a couple of years ago, the people who always were able to make decisions always had capital and always had liquidity. Like, to me, it's always about being easy to access that cash if you need it too. So I like control and I like liquidity, and trading gave me that. And that's why it was like a really good fit for me, because the money, I can take it out of the brokerage account if I need it, crash my car, I can take it out, boom, boom, boom. I can do whatever I need to do with that. And at the same time, the lifestyle, I think, like I told you, moved to Florida. I like the beach. I like being outside. I like working out. I like just spending time with Riley because I like enjoying life. And I think that goes back to the thing with my parents, seeing them, how life can change. So it's like, I like enjoying everything. I also do like working hard, but I think that control for me is like such a big thing. And it's also, I see people without control. So maybe that's it too. As we're talking about it, I'm thinking more, I'm like, I just see so many people like taken victim, like waiting for the government's next check, waiting for someone to give them an opportunity, waiting for this thing to come through, sending out 10 messages and hoping that that pays off rather than 100 messages or what. So I just think that if I can offer a sense of control, especially in a time like now, you know what I'm saying? Like, where people are losing control more than ever, then I'm obligated almost, don't you think? Like morally, like otherwise God or somebody's going to smite me down. Whatever you believe in is going to stick me with a lightning bolt or something.
I actually totally agree in a way, because I think that
like you guys give back your content. I don't mean to cut you off, but you got to give back the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? What were you going to say?
I think it's, for us, it's like, join in on our journey and listen to the people that we want to express what they've done to be successful so that we can all win. That's kind of why we do it. But also the financial freedom for us, I think similar to you, is like, it is giving me options. It's giving me security. It's saying that I don't have to work for a paycheck for somebody else, or I don't have to do something that I don't want to do every day. Think about what your family has been through. Do you want to be miserable every day waking up? Like, it's, you don't have that much time.
It's sad. No, that's it. Right? Exactly. And then it comes back to what you said about who you surround yourself with. And those, like, so the logo right there, the triangle, what that means is the triangle with the bar going through it. You got
let's see the arm.
Yeah, bro, I got it on my arm.
I caught it. Yep.
Yeah, so what it means is the triangle with the line going through it means like transcendence. That's like a universal symbol for transcendence. So I put the 3 Roman numerals in, and I'm a big boy now. I got this trademark, so I own it. So just so you know, I feel that's this week's big news. I feel like a big boy about that. But I put the 3 pillars in the middle because I found online that they meant like group. So I made the logo to me mean transcendence as a group. Like we go further together. Like the same thing you were saying about getting these other people together, talking to the different people, putting out the content. It's an obligation, but it's also selfish, because if I can get you guys talking, you can get me talking, we can all grow together. And in a way that is selfish. You know what I'm saying? To want that, it would be, but everybody wins. So it's a good thing. It's a good kind of selfish.
I think it's more selfless actually, but
yeah. You can take that perspective too. You get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you talk about the ability to work from anywhere. Yeah. How important is that to you? Because you don't have to get up, go to an office. Right now, offices are kind of obsolete, but going to an office for a 9 to 5 and just kind of looking over your shoulder at your boss. How important is that for you?
Well, I never had a 9 to 5 traditionally. So before trading, my source of income, the only thing, that I had was DJing. So I was just working on the weekends. I was doing I had, just a totally different path than everybody else. Everybody else was working all week, 5 days, and I was working one party on a Saturday, and I made just as much, if not more money than them. So I was just going on this totally different path of non-traditional, non-boss, going into the office. And Riley, because I kind of snagged her right out of college, she didn't have a 9 to 5 either. So both of us don't have that sense of being in an office that makes me feel like I'm working. We both have this really good internal switch of, hey, time to wake up, time to get to work. You know what I'm saying? Go to the office, put the shirt on, take a shower, do what you need to do, treat it like a real job, even without that boss. So the work from home is almost looked at as like privilege. You know what I'm saying? You want that privilege to have a nice pool and a nice gym and a sauna to go to. You better get your ass up. Like there is a boss there. You are the boss now. I'm the boss. She's the boss of her own life. So it's like that, I think, is what makes it for me, because then you can reward yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I can plan a week ahead, know that I can have a day off to go do the boat on Friday or whatever I want to do, but then still make sure that I'm up getting 10, 8, 12, whatever it is that day, hours of work solid in beforehand. So it's prioritizing your time and stuff like that. But the work from home thing is huge, because then, like you said, if I want to, I can take it anywhere. If I want to, like, for example, right now, of course, when we ended up getting settled in Harrisburg, I instantly, 2 months into that, we started traveling to find a place to move from Harrisburg. So now that we settled in Florida. I
wasn't going to say anything, but there's not much to do in Harrisburg. So.
Right. No, there's definitely not much to do, but it was good because it was a good place to start a business. You know what I'm saying? Locks you in the Northeast gray winters and you're just crushing it. But now, as soon as we get here, now I'm already looking at houses in Texas, because I get way more money for $1 million in Texas than I get $1 million here. So I'm like,
we can hook you up with some people in Texas.
We got some guys.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, see, absolutely. If you're trying to look for,
I'm dead serious. I was literally for my birthday planning to fly.
My cousin lives in Texas with
really? What part of Texas?
He's a real estate investor and
crushing it.
Austin is, so I don't know where in Texas you're looking, but
and that was where I was looking, Austin or Houston, because I kind of still want to be near the beach, but I also still could do a lake or something like that. But I like the water, so a pool's a must. I already know what I'm looking for, so once I find it, it's going to be hard to keep me. But the point is that the work from home can go anywhere. I can go to the state. This is like, let's be businessmen here. I can go to the state where my taxes are lowest. I can go to where I can hire people for cheapest if I needed to employ local people. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the people that we employ are all over the world. I have a couple of people in California, a couple of people international to save some money, of course. But so that's the beautiful thing about the work from home. And I think it's becoming more popular. Like I feel like I was on the COVID work from home wave a couple of months or years before everybody's now on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool because it's like, it's an interesting thing, and you guys can probably speak on this more, and I'd be interested to know your take about people leaving the cities and moving out into the suburbs. And I heard actually that the biggest percentage gain of homes that are being bought now is like in the $6 million range, because you have so many wealthy people leaving the cities to go live out in the suburbs because they don't have to be in an office anymore. They're on this work from home wave. You know what I'm saying?
Rise, a question. I want to answer that real quick.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. What do
you got,
Ryan?
I personally, this is just my feeling. I have not a lot of data to back this up. This is just how I feel. I think main markets like San Francisco, New York, not really LA because it's spread out.
Philly?
But San Francisco, New York, I think are going to suffer a little bit. But I think sub-markets, Houston, Austin, Philly, Denver, I think those markets are going to be actually on the rise in terms of real estate and where people move to, because I live in Philadelphia, but I live in like almost like it's in Manioc, almost like a suburban-ish
area.
So you don't have to be in downtown Philly, but you can still live in Philadelphia.
Because it's so big. It's sprawled out so different. Yeah. That's a good point too.
Exactly. So again, no data to back that up. Consult somebody else who knows what the hell they're talking about. But that's just how I feel. So I know Ryan has a question.
Yeah, mine just goes back to the previous point of, working from anywhere, set your own schedule. Like a lot of people hear this the word entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, and they see all these cars and freedom and laptop, taking a picture in front of a beach with a Corona in your hand. And for me, I just want you to dive in on a schedule and like what a day in the life looks like for you, so people can actually grasp how much work really goes into it.
100%. So right now, what I'm big on, and it's kind of cool you guys asked this, I've been doing for the last month, I'm looking at my calendar right now, this, I don't know if you ever heard it. It's like the Entrepreneurs Week. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So basically what it is like Saturdays and Sundays are off, of course, for family or for whatever. That's what this is passed down to me through my accountant. And then what you do is you figure out like 4 or 5 of your most like time consuming things that you do: sales, content creation, phone calls, marketing content, whatever. And you break those up into specific days. So for him, what he was doing was like all his sales were on Monday, all his follow-ups were on Wednesday, and his marketing content was on Wednesday. On Tuesday, he did team management, not new lead acquisition. No new leads are coming in. He doesn't care about making new money that day. That day already passed. So that breaking of the days, I was like, okay, let me try that. So what I've been doing is with my coaching calls, I've been booking them all in the front of my week so he can motivate me, crush Monday, crush Tuesday and Wednesday if I need to Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, flex. If I want to do hot yoga and 2 workouts that day and beach and read and just get my brain somewhere I need it to get, then I can do that. So that's what's been working right now. But on a daily basis, alarm goes off at 5. I'm probably beating that up, coffee right away. And then I start, first I meditate just for 10 minutes. I use like Sam Harris's Waking Up app. Riley got me on that. I got the meditation.
My girlfriend meditates in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it helps me. I'm not going to stop now because I have too much data that shows I don't lose trades when I meditate. When I don't meditate, I've forced trades. I'm aggressive. I open up a group chat. I see people talking and I take a bad trade. But if I keep myself calm, the meditation early in the morning, right as the caffeine's kicking in, I kind of like the way it makes me feel too, because I feel like my brain's like just going, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool. So that's the first thing I do. And then I trade till about 10. If I don't find a trade though, Riley will wake up at 6 or 7 and I'll be like, yo, let's go on a walk. Let's go to the gym. Every day we'll try to alternate. Let's go play tennis, go do something outside early. As long as there's no trade. Once I'm done the trade or in the trade and it's managed, then I'm off the desk, out of here, get me out of here. Because then I'm coming back by 11. And that's normally when my calls start. Coaching calls, call with the accountant, call with the life insurance, call with this, call with that, till about 3. And then I try to stop by 3 because at 3 o'clock I do a recap call for the day. So anybody that buys the course gets to come into this group chat with us on Facebook and Discord. And every day I go in and show all the ideas that presented to the systems that we trade. So it's like a good refresher every single day to show people that are new how the systems are applied in the live market. And then once that call is done, like you guys are my late call today. Normally I don't have any calls at this time. I'm having dinner, just chilling out, reading, going outside, doing whatever, because it is still nice out here at 6, 7, 8 o'clock now. So I like that we can get outside. And then that's it, really. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. Like I don't fuck around with the sleeping stuff because I know that sleep is important and I know I struggle with sleep. So I'm like, do my best part to not eat junk food at 8, be asleep by 9, 9:30, and then up again the next day. Hopefully not at 1 or 2, because that does happen sometimes where my body's just like, time to go, bro. There's trades. You better get your ass to the chart. Pips are calling. And
I
then
think for motivated people, I don't know that there's a lot of people like you, Austin, but there are some out there. The motive, like if you're motivated but you hate what you're currently doing, I think the bells are ringing right now, or should be ringing for people. Like this is real. Like
yes.
This is making 10% a month on trades, if you have some money to invest, this is real. And I don't, like, Ryan and I are thinking, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't have the time right now, but it sounds awesome. So like,
that's everybody's biggest thing. And I always would say to people, it's like, think about any skill that you learned, you get better over time. So the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to get better, the sooner you'll actually have an understanding. But you have to have that initial want. Because I look at anything with the markets, like with candles and all that stuff, I call it speculation. It's not investments like real estate. It's not investments like buying a life insurance policy or buying something like that. It's totally different. It's speculation. And it requires this crazy bug, I think, in you to an extent of being a little money hungry, a little extra driven, and you got to fit the bill a little bit if you're going to make it work. So it is definitely for the right person. But also, to compare my schedule to a normal person, like the guys that aren't coaching, the guys that are just trading, they're up probably around the same time as I am. If you're on the East Coast, everybody's a little different. The European guys are lucky. They wake up at normal time. They start trading at 11 o'clock. It's beautiful. Like, that's why I'm thinking about moving to Spain too, eventually. But they have it nice. So most of the guys on the East Coast or West Coast are waking up around 6 a.m., 5 a.m. They're trading till 10 a.m. And that's typically when we stop, because the ideas slow down as the markets get closer and closer to that New York session getting done. The stock market's closing. The London market's also closed then at that time. It starts to quiet down. So you almost have to get off the charts because there's not a lot of action. You know what I mean? So don't let the time intimidate you. When you got the bug, Corey, I got you. I promise, bro.
That's cool.
Yeah. As long as you can teach me how to dunk. Like, if you can get me up to courses for free, courses on me, you get me. Shut up, bro.
No, for me and you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like probably like an inch taller than you.
So we talked about Forex, right? And obviously you run your own business, but financial independence is a big thing for you as well. Do you have any other investments that you jump into? For example, real estate or stocks or IRAs, things like that people might be like, okay, he's not a one-stop shop.
Definitely. So first thing that I always talk about is the life insurance, because that's like probably my next biggest chunk that I'm putting money into. Whole life insurance, paid up 10, 20-year policies. I have 2 on me and Riley. And then we also have some term insurance that we're converting over. I'm following this strategy. If anybody's interested in it, check it out. It's amazing. It's just very interesting. It's called cash flow banking. There's a guy on YouTube, Garrett Gunderson, awesome content about that. He wrote 2 books about it that I read both of them. They motivated me to follow this strategy. Basically, the idea behind it is using the cash value of whole life insurance policies to create a legacy is the simplest way to put it. And you can actually take loans against that cash value. The cash value itself is tax-free no matter when you take it. There's a lot of advantages to life insurance as an investment to me. And again, I'm not, like Corey said, not many people like me, but to me, because it keeps me out of the stock market, there's guarantees from companies that are over 150 years old. So I like that. I actually do consider that an investment because I'm making payments to that every month. So it's like a deferred savings. I've got to put the money there, and it's with a solid company, and it's got a guarantee that's not tied to the market. I love that because I'm in the market enough. Like, I needed that. So that was one big thing. And the other stuff that I'm really into right now is crypto. I've been buying this year since about 4,000. So I'm actually thinking about taking some profits soon, but I'm trying to be a good boy and hold it because I know crypto is the future, but I don't know if Bitcoin is the future. That's the quote that everybody has to remember. Crypto can be the future. Blockchain can be the shit. Computers are taking over, plug me in, whatever. But that doesn't mean Bitcoin has to have value. So I think profits are profits too. So that's my Bitcoin-ish. I would definitely leave some in there. I'm going to leave some even if I take profits, but I think you have to take profits eventually. Bitcoin, gold, and silver. And right now with the gold and silver, what I'm kind of telling everybody, because I know people that follow me on Instagram and YouTube, they've seen me buying it. I'm not buying anymore to store in my house. So nobody show up to my house and try to take it from me because I'm not buying anymore. I'm buying a vault now, but I'm being serious. That's the move. If you want to buy gold and silver, you can actually set up a vault in New York, Singapore, Switzerland really easily and actually have the gold and silver that you want to buy shipped there. Because right now you're getting silver at $30 an ounce, gold at about $2,000 an ounce. If you go back to when our dads were hanging out at our age, Corey, and they were talking, I mean, you imagine if they had just bought, I don't want to give the exact price because I can't be sure, but I mean, silver was not anywhere near close to $30 an ounce back in the day. Right. And gold, I know, was under 1,000 or around 1,000. It probably was lower, just depending on the year that they were doing that. So to think about the long store of value, gold and silver to me are the move for sure. Really so cool. That's where I'm diversified, the crypto and the gold too.
I love this type of episode for us because it gives people a different avenue that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about, including me and Ryan. Like, yeah. I don't want to speak for you, but like some of this is blowing my mind. So it's like, I'd have to kind of figure out how I would dabble. Real estate.
Just start watching a couple of my YouTube videos when you have some free time and you feel like hearing me talk at you fast. But I know real estate's like your main thing. So I'm a big believer in you got to get, I don't like the, what's the saying? Separate your eggs into different baskets. I'm like, no, put all the eggs in one basket and watch the basket. So if as like anybody that's up and coming in their lane, don't diversify over into Forex right away. Like that's not the right move. This is now a new thing that a lot of people are just getting on their radar and they're going to come back to it in the coming years. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be the right time. But no, I think the real estate to me seems like such a good move if you understand it. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my fear in real estate is that I know so many people that buy houses, live in them, don't rent them out, and end up losing money when they have to go back and resell that house. Plus the inflation that they lost, they don't even talk about that. They just look at the numbers on paper, what they put in, what they sold for, blah, blah, blah. Add the inflation and they're getting double, 2 fingers in the butt. So it's like...
Yeah, so no, you're right.
That's amazing.
It's true.
Double. Yeah, that would suck. So one of the things that you're talking about is like, just like the coaching that you do, I mean, real estate businesses that we do, like Ryan and I've spent probably the last 3 years, like, let's study this. Let's figure this out. Let's learn it. You don't want to get to the analysis paralysis phase. I think I avoided it for the most part. I probably went a couple months in and then you do dive in. But like you said, you don't want to just take $1,000 or $10,000 and throw it into.
Who's your biggest mentor in the real estate stuff? Who have you guys been studying a lot? Like, who do you tell people to go study?
Bigger Pockets kind of started it all for us.
They're like the most poppin' podcast for real estate, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. And they're giving away free game. And then a lot of it is they teach you how to study and how to analyze. And then the thing that separates the winners from the losers, so to speak, is actually taking action, because you can listen all day long. So we hope that people that listen to this, that want to do real estate, that want to do Forex, don't just listen, right? Like take that leap, because you can mess up in your 20s. You can mess up in your 30s. You can make mistakes and you're still going to be fine unless you're like completely going off the rails, which, just be realistic about your expectations. I think it's good for both ways.
100%. And people don't act enough, out of fear. And that's kind of what I feel like has held me back from real estate is fear. But I've also known that getting over fear is just education. Just get around smart people, get around the people that are making money in real estate, consume the content like you guys are doing with the bigger, and then you're going to get it. It's just a matter of time. That's the other thing. People don't want to act for the period of time. Riley's reading this book, Mastery. I read it a couple of years ago by Robert Greene. If you guys haven't read that, it's a very long book, but almost like needed to be that long to really drive it home of how important that idea of like 10,000 hours is. You know what I mean? And you guys probably would agree with that, right?
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us to like the last, maybe you use that as the last segment of our show is called the Fresh Squeeze of the Week. We just rebranded it. And
I like that.
So I guess this doesn't have to be related to crypto or to Forex, but I'm looking for a resource, whether that's a book, a podcast, a platform, some sort of program, maybe it is Mastery, that at least maybe puts people on the mind frame, gives them the mindset to do what you're doing. Or if it's an intro book to Forex, like what's a resource that you leave people with? You have a big following on Instagram if they want to either get in touch with you or just learn about what you do.
Definitely. So I think a really great book that came to mind that could be applicable to people interested in trading or not. This is a book that actually is recommended from a trader, that guy Mike I mentioned earlier. The book is called Mindset by Carol Dweck, Dweck. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. It basically is a bunch of examples, which I love because it makes it like stick with me because I can relate it to stories in my life. It's a bunch of examples of how to implement. It actually teaches you like, this is what you should think, how to implement a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And that's everything. The growth mindset is the patience, the discipline, the determination, the drive, the motivate. It's everything. It's all grouped in a growth mindset. If you can't have it. Yeah. So I think that's
you should slow down on that. I'm just kidding.
No, bro. But I think that's it. So that's a great book that I think everybody can take some value out of. And it's got an audiobook too. If you're not a big reader like me, the audiobook.
Yeah, I'm an audiobook guy, but first of all, this has been awesome and like really enlightening for me because it's opening up another door. I think a lot of people that listen to this to our podcast for financial independence and real estate are going to look at this as just another avenue, a route they can take.
That's all I'm here to do is put that out there. So yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on and making this happen. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. So just to give listeners an idea of how to reach you, we have, you are very active on Instagram at Austin Silver FX. Yep. And then you also have a YouTube channel, just plain Austin Silver.
It's Austin. It's all Austin Silver FX, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. If you go to YouTube/Austin Silver FX, it's all there. Yep.
Awesome, easy. Man. This is, it's cool. We haven't chatted in a while. I think that might.
But listen, because we know each other, Corey, I promise. Like, let me give you at least I got those two courses, right? When you're ready and you're like, yo, I want to commit a couple of hours to actually just understanding what you're doing, I'll give you the beginner course for free, bro, just to watch it and get your feet wet. And then from there, of course, you can add the other stuff that'll give you the other systems later. But if you were just like, yo, I watched some YouTube videos, I'm interested, just text me. I want you to take it. I want you to see it, because then I'd be interested to know if you have that. All right, I might need to start waking up 2 hours before I start watching my real estate stuff. I might need to go trade with the guys for 2 hours.
Look, I'm never going to say never. I just got to find the time. But awesome, man. I respect your time. I know you probably got maybe like.
No, bro. I'm glad that you guys had me on. The hour flew by. So I hope that we'll be able to share this, get the value, get the cross pollination from my audience over to you guys, because I think you guys bring a lot of value, especially in the real estate area, not just in the other stuff that you've talked about in the clips on Instagram. But I don't have a lot of people that I can push people to for real estate. So it's good to have somebody other than Bigger Pockets. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody like, oh yeah, go watch the most popular real estate podcast in the world.
Well, it gets to a point, I think, where they're not gurus. They started it all, but they do have a serious wealth of knowledge that they present to people, and it's intimidating. So I like to talk it from our perspective, where we're kind of just like going on in the journey. So
I like it.
Thanks again for your time, bro. It's been awesome. We really appreciate you coming on.
Good
Thanks
to meet
for
you,
having
man.
me, guys.
Thank you very much.
Too, Ryan.